All right, here we are. Let's wait for everything to load. Let's wait for. All right, here we are, live. 21 of you guys, 22 of you guys here waiting for the show to start. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with me, spending your Mother's Day with me. I do appreciate that. Let me get all my stuff up on this screen over here, and then we'll be all good to go to talk about the race today. Fun weekend, man. Heartbreaking last 2 days, but I have really loved these slates. This has probably been the best weekend overall for all three series in terms of how fun it's been to build lineups and dive into everything. Let's see. Also, all the F1 stuff is up. Pearce has updated his stuff in the sheet over there. If you're playing that, if you're part of the Patreon, if you're not, it's May 8th. I'd like to try and push it because I haven't really pushed a whole lot. But if you do like live shows, if you like the stuff that both him and I do, if you like using the projections, any of the tools, and if you're looking at the pit data, if you're looking at the Dover laps, whatever the case may be, or if you want to do that, feel free to join the Patreon in the link in the description below. Let me bring all this stuff here. Feel free to drop any questions, any guys you're curious about deep in the comment section below. I want to be here for at least an hour, chilling, talking with you guys. I have a majority of my lineups made. I'm going to be 20 maxing. So I got 20 in the 15, 20 in the 4, 20 in the 5, 20 in the 1. Probably, not sure if I'll add another $1 one, but I think 500 on one race is good enough here. I do have ownership spread out quite a bit right now, but I'm going to answer everything in terms of, gun to my head, who do I like here? But just overall, I have ownership right now to Logano, Larson, Truex, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Byron, Reddick, Alex Bowman, Chris Buescher, Austin Dillon, Daniel Suarez, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Hemrick, Stenhouse, Gilliland, Custer, Haley, LaJoy, Ware, JJ, Castle, Elliott, Harvick, and McLeod. That's my entire pool. So I'm technically playing everybody, but I'm going to be answering stuff in terms of gun to my head, who do I really like here. So, and I got a cough again, so let me mute this real quick. All right, let's go ahead and look through these questions here. It'd probably be easier if this is on the screen for now. I'll move it over when I'm looking at other stuff. Yeah, man, raise hell, Praisdale. The man would have been, 70, 75 this year, somewhere around that. He most likely would have died around this time anyway. So we're at the point to where reality has met fantasy, to where he'd pretty much be on his deathbed. There's no way he's going to outlive Richard Petty. He'd probably already be in really horrible shape, man. I hate to disappoint you there, buddy. Good morning, Mark. Thank you for this. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. 41 of you guys here Sunday evening, 2 minutes in, trying to get everything out of the way just so I can start going through questions and looking at stuff for you guys. Thank you, family man. You've been a consistent viewer this year. I do appreciate it. I don't know why I'm getting so nasally, like right as soon as I start these, I just get super nasally. So I do apologize for that, but thank you for being here. Just constantly, family man. I do appreciate it. In terms of best punts, so the punt range is not even the punt. The value range is very interesting today. A lot of different possibilities, a lot of different ways to go, a lot of ways that might end up having guys not hit value, and it just goes into who scores the best in the value range. Like, let me bring this up over here. Let's see. All right. In terms of the value range, we're gonna consider that. We're gonna consider that under 5,700. because when you're in the 6K range, you're not necessarily punting. I think Haley is certainly in play, but let's talk about Burton, McDowell, Gillen, Dillon, Castle, LaJoy, Yaley, McLeod, and Ware. So for right now, in terms of the practice speed that we saw from Harrison Burton, very much struggling at this track, very much not happy with this here. When we look back at what he was able to do last weekend in a basically not necessarily a backup car, but starting from the back, not having a ton of laps on it, basically having to just start in the rear and not having a lot of time on the track, basically because the diffuser was torn off on the spin last weekend. He was 30th fastest car, gained positions late in the race, finished 24th. I think that is an outstanding day. When we look at how Harrison Burton has ran this year in terms of speed, 29th at Fontana, 26th at Las Vegas. And when we look at where he finished in those races, we have 16th at Fontana, 33rd at Fontana, 16th at Las Vegas. So he's gaining positions late in these races. He's finishing way better than what he's running at. I'm concerned that Burton does end up getting trapped a lap down here. I don't see him having top 22 speed to stay in the lead lap. Certainly late in this race, I would imagine he'll probably be a lap down, probably at the end of stage one. When we're looking at lines and when we're looking at projections for Harrison Burton, having him start 25th today, I cannot realistically give the man like anything more than like 2 spots as like a ceiling. Like a 23rd place finish is not gonna perform well at all. I have him at 21 points today. I don't see Harrison Burton carrying the speed or finding speed late in this race to get a top 20 finish today. And so, right now I got Harrison Burton for 21 DraftKings points. When we get to Todd Gilliland, it's really the same story. Now I understand Gilliland has been performing way better than Burton this year, but this is going to be a really, really difficult track, and it's the same thing with Burton. And looking at what I think Gillen's going to do is clearly not showing speed in anything that's like taken off. Starting 27, I assume he's going to have around a 26th place car, 27th place car. We've at least seen speed that backed up his run in Las Vegas, and despite that, he was still the 28th fastest car. At Fontana, 32nd fastest, just survived the chaos, finished 20th that day. I'm sure we're going to have guys get in the wall. I'm sure we're going to have tires blown. And there's a situation where we might end up having more yellows in this race than traditionally at Darlington, just due to the fact that if you get in the wall, you're most likely going to break something. There's just no surviving touching the wall in these cars. And this track is going to be brutal on that, especially if you do it on the entry when it's a hard impact in the wall and you just stay against it, certainly in turns 3 and 4. So he might gain positions due to adversity, but $5,300 for somebody that I have projected for 19 points, because look, I'm giving Todd Gilliland 25th place finish. That's not crazy. I have him from there. Cole Custer, when we get, and Custer necessarily isn't even in this range, but we'll talk about him and my huge hesitance to play Cole Custer, which is, side note, very much of a shame that people don't watch my videos if I just don't title them Cup Series races or Cup Series previews, despite the fact that a lot of my videos that I think are worth the watch, to where they're almost better than just my normal previews, are the ones that just don't get any views. So the data video that I made on Thursday, looking at data that I trust for intermediate tracks, I think that is a fantastic video and really is the backbone of my mentality entering this weekend and entering the month of May and all these intermediate tracks that we're at. Last week, I said it in the live show, I was really, really worried about Cole Custer getting stuck running 28th all day, not having the car. What does he do? Absolutely does that. Runs absolutely piss poor. Does not have the speed. Is the worst Stewart-Haas car. And it was the same situation we saw last year at Michigan and other tracks, to where Cole Custer was basically running around 30th all day, despite the field around him. He just did not have the speed. Saved late in the race last weekend due to the Caution coming out in the middle of green flag pit stops, but Cole Custer should have finished 28th last weekend. The 15th place finish was absolute dumb luck, and I really don't want to be in that situation again. I don't want to be relying on those yellows and in situations like that to carry Cole Custer out of being stuck 28th. I mean, Cole Custer's showing us around 24th place speeds, man. There's not a lot coming from the 41 this weekend. I'm highly concerned about him. I have Cole Custer for 22 points. When we get to Haley, I don't have Haley projected for value either. I don't see him getting in the top 20, but I can see him having a good run at 22nd. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I have Haley as pretty much one of the highest projected guys back here in the 5K range. I know I'm saying 5,700 is value, but below that we're struggling to find people that are going to blow the socks off. When we get to LaJoy, I think LaJoy is the best play. I have the most LaJoy out of anybody in the back of the field right now, just due to the fact that those are in lines that I don't necessarily want to go lower than $4,900. He's giving me the most upside, and it's still concerning. It's still a major concern that this is one of LaJoy's worst statistical tracks. Sorry that I keep, going quiet, but I got to mute the mic whenever I'm going to just cough. I don't want to blow your eardrums out. But when we get to LaJoy, we've never really seen LaJoy perform at this racetrack. I understand he finished 15th in the fall last year. That was more of an anomaly. It was good to see out of the speed or out of that team. I don't believe that's going to be repeated. I believe that we're going to see LaJoy run in the 20s. However, the thing that I like is the practice speeds from Vegas and the what he was able to turn around in the actual race. Very similar to this weekend, where LaJoy wasn't carrying a lot of speed in practice, but had the 22nd fastest car at Las Vegas. Ended up finishing 15th. But if we can get LaJoy to be a mid-20s driver, I think LaJoy is by far the best play in this range here. In fact, if I wasn't concerned about diversifying in this range, I'd probably be a lot higher on LaJoy. What do I end up having LaJoy at? For me, LaJoy is just the play in the value range. I'm sure he's going to be the chalk. I'm not necessarily concerned about getting off that because there's just not a lot of plays that'll work down here. I got 50% LaJoy right now. He's the most owned that I have of anybody in this range. We can make arguments for Landon Castle. I don't see it. I don't see him. I don't see him outrunning LaJoy today. But I can see a situation where he'll probably be a 29th place car by default. A couple yellows happen. A couple of guys that are great contenders get wrecked out, move up to around 27th place finish, somewhere around there. But even then, 20 points from Landon Castle isn't going to necessarily blow the socks off of anyone. But it's what we're stuck down here. And I actually prefer this type of value range and this type of situation more to where there's not a lot of people, projected to just absolutely kill back here. I mean, the value range is back to being the value range. The reason that I do have ownership to people like JJ Yaley, Cody Ware, and BJ McLeod is when we're in situations like this to where the value range looks this ugly, and you can argue that it's a very close projection-wise. I don't mind not hitting value with people like Cody Ware from mid salary to get lineups that absolutely just kill with, both Harvick and Elliott and then two lap leaders. Those are situations. This is a situation where I don't necessarily mind doing that. I'm not going absolutely crazy. Like my Ware ownership today is 20%. I have BJ McLeod at 5%. I got Landon Castle at 11% right now. So I'm not going crazy on these guys, but it's more of a situation where if LaJoy wrecks out, I need to have ownership somewhere else. So that's the punt range right now, and that's how I look at that. Chastain should. In terms of who projects to lead laps and who should have a fast car, I mean, Chastain is in both those. Chastain is going to get the lead on pit road. I don't see Chastain doing it on the racetrack, but I do have quite a lot of Chastain today. Um, when I look at ownership, my highest owned guys are Larson, Truex, and Chastain. Those are the three highest guys right now, in terms of lap leaders and in terms of guys going to be there at the end. I think Chastain is too cheap. You can fit him in easily in nearly every type of build. When we're looking at Chastain and when we're looking specifically at Las Vegas and Darlington, he's been able to replicate the speeds that they've carried. Darlington should be the same situation there. I'm leaning very heavily on the data that we've seen this year combined with the practice speeds at Charlotte this weekend. I think Chastain is a fantastic play. That's where I'm at there. I do have lineups with Logano and Larson. Logano is I'm playing. I have Logano lines in a situation of just yet again blanketing, playing everybody. Very similar to the Martinsville race, to where I didn't play a lot of William Byron. However, the lineups that I built with William Byron from that race were built specifically for an event where he led the lap, and I was one driver off the optimal tide for the second highest line with the William Byron lines. Same situation here, to where I don't have a lot of Logano ownership. I personally believe Logano is a bad play. I don't think Logano is going to be able to stay out in front. However, I have Logano lines built in situations to where he shows me speed that I did not project for, that he's able to stay out and actually lead a good chunk. Like, the main thing with Logano is, and it's bit both the early lap leaders in both fucking races this weekend, which has been incredibly frustrating. But John Hunter Nemechek in the Truck Series race, fantastic initial start, able to pull away, gain a lead. That's what you want. Early caution comes out, bunches back up, loses the lead on the second restart. Same thing with Ty Gibbs yesterday. Ty Gibbs, I had him at least projected for 40 laps led. I didn't expect him to lead late in the race. I thought he'd have a way better car. I hate being wrong about that type of stuff, but the fact that he was able to build a huge lead and then have it cut down when Bailey Curry spun to Hill, that bunched the field back up and caused people to be able to pass Ty Gibbs. That's a very similar situation that I view Joey Logano in today. Like, his best run to get a ton of laps led is in stage one, and if stage one goes green. If we have a yellow 20, 25 laps into the race, there's a real good chance that I see Larson or whoever has the fastest car at that point in the race be able to pass Logano. And certainly if we get to around 30 laps into the stage and we have a yellow, there's a chance Logano loses the lead on pit road. So that's the main concern with Logano. So, gun to my head, I think I don't like Logano as a play. I'm putting him in lines to have ownership to him. Should be 3. I'm looking for 3 lap leaders. We don't use the term Dom. Dom is a racial slur here, and we're not talking about any subs either, so it doesn't work in that situation. So let's not use the term dominator. Okay, let's use the term lap leader. But yeah, I'm looking for 3, and this is where you get into the argument of where you project, how well you project Elliott and Harvick to do. I think Harvick easily hits value. I think Elliott easily hits value. I believe Elliott is going to be a lap leader at some point in this race. So how are you building lines? And it goes back to why I do have some ownership to the men's salary guys, because there's lineups that I do really like that have both Harvick and Elliott together, and then Larson, and then another lap leader. I think Elliott and Harvick make a lot of sense. I think that there's a lot of guys like I love the speed that we're seeing out of Truex. I love the speed we're seeing out of Kyle Busch. It's more so just mixing guys in and out. If I would, gun to my head, prioritizing, I think you need one of Harvick and Elliott in your line. I think that would be a priority. Personally, I'd like to try and be overweight on Chase Elliott compared to Harvick, just due to the fact that Harvick's cheaper, and I think it's easier to get him in lines. I like to try and build with more solo Elliott lines, like Elliott being the only guy of Harvick and Elliott in the line, combined with people like Chastain, Kyle Busch, Mark Truex Jr., Kyle Larson. But that's where I'm at there. But in terms of straight up lap leaders, I want to try and get 3 to 4 guys in that. Let's see. I kind of already talked about that by sheer luck. What's going on, Jordan? I think you're gonna have a lot of fun making lineups in your stream here. Coming up later, I think in an hour. I think that's when I saw that you were going live. In terms of favorite guy under $6,200, it is going to be. I X'd out of this. So hold on. Let me bring this up. Sorry, did not mean to X out of this. Under Under $6,200, buckaroonies, dollar rooskies. I think it's Hemrick and Haley. I think it's those two guys. I have more Hemrick right now than Haley, but either one of those guys are probably the best play. If outside of that, like if you can't get to them, I fully believe it's LaJoy. That's where I'm at there. I'm assuming. See, I'm pretty sure I'm just a complete, big moron. I'm going to assume that this is a piece of ice. Maybe you're referring to crystal meth, being a speed freak, being a motorhead. Maybe I don't know there. Thank you, Sterling. I do appreciate you telling people to do that. That is very much a concern. It's not even a tire day; it's just an equipment issue. Like if somebody spins in 3 and 4, like if you get sideways and save the car, you're going to destroy the diffuser going down the banking. This is going to be a real test of equipment, and I think the equipment's going to fail most of the times. Like the way you survive this race is running into no issues at all, not getting into the fence, not getting sideways. So tires blowing, which are always a concern here at Dover, not necessarily the highest on my priority of things that are going to go wrong today. No way what are you talking about? Oh, Byron. I don't know why I read that as Elliott. Do you project Byron to lead laps? I don't. I think I have him projected for very few, actually. I'm pretty sure I'm giving him laps led, and yeah, I'm like, I threw him 9 fast laps, 14 fast laps, 9 laps led, a 6th place finish, and that leaves you at 4.9. I don't see Byron hitting value today, and so I have 0% Byron right now, and it's due to the fact that I didn't like Byron from practice. I have him highlighted that I need to build at least one line with Byron, but I didn't like Byron's practice speeds. I didn't like him necessarily going into this weekend. The fact that he's going to the back is not the reason why I'm not interested in William Byron. There's other reasons there. Man, that's what a use of language here. So Keselowski is a situation to where I talked about in the video that again nobody fucking watches. But Keselowski showed a lot of speed last weekend. Got caught up in the pit road. Actually, he was offset. He was off sequence. My bad. In terms of tires, and so he was going to fall back anyway. But he was going to be saved by the last caution or the last pit stop period that they had. The caution comes out. Keselowski ends up being trapped a lap down, and it's even hurt more when Reddick spins, takes Lucky Dog away from both of those guys from getting that opportunity. But we saw Keselowski carry speed in the race last weekend. I like to see that. We're clearly seeing RFK carry speed and making an improvement to where they were early in the season, despite the fact that I think that we can see Buescher and Keselowski both run well today, and they project out better than guys around them in their own salary ranges. And so I do have ownership to Keselowski. I have more to Buescher, but I have ownership to both. I like Haley, to be honest with you. I think Haley finishes better. I'm very much concerned about Custer getting trapped running slow as fuck today. Absolute dumb luck. You need to be aware. Like last weekend, if you were like me and had a ton of Cole Custer, you got lucky. Like that was a mistake. That was an absolute mistake, a bad read, a bad play, saved late in the race. But he did not have speed. So I like Haley there. Yeah, I like LaJoy. I don't know. I'm Jordan. I'm pretty sure you're gonna get you're gonna get mad at some lapper at some point when they inevitably cause a wreck today. So I am very much interested in seeing how angry you get on Twitter when somebody wrecks. Certainly, probably whoever you have highest. Yeah, same thing to you, Christopher. Best of luck. I real hope so, man. It was real close. We had I forgot his name. Shout me out yesterday. He finished in the top 3. I think he won the Xfinity Series race, and then Bixby finished 4th in Xfinity. A lot of the Patreon guys have been up there each and every week, and that's not me bullshitting. Be like, oh, you join the Patreon, we're gonna win. Like, clearly, you need to know what you're doing. But it's very, very just happy to see anytime you look at the scores, you're seeing people who use the Patreon up in the top 200 in trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series. Like, I'm so happy and so proud of that. Yep, there you go. I mean, that's really not, well, I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, it's not my right to say not your opinion, but I mean, that's more accurate than just you being like, here's a gut shot opinion or something, but that is very true. Yes, I think so. I mean, I do not want to look at previous lap data. That is not the reason. Like, him having the most fast laps at this track the previous 4 years, not a fucking concern for me. Not a reason I'm even looking at him. I like what they're bringing here. I like what they have in practice. I like the speeds of Fontana. I like the speeds at Dover. Clearly, when you look at those, you're not seeing like the fastest car. But once you combine how he's ran this year at the intermediate tracks, when you combine that with the practice data, when you combine that with looking through each individual lap that Truex ran, and seeing how far into a run they're actually going, and seeing that he's not dropping off a whole lot, he's staying right at the high 161s at the line. Despite when I say that, we're seeing that, Kyle Busch is in the 162s. We're seeing that Larson is in the 162s. We're seeing that I think Truex is very much aimed to become a lap leader later in this race than right off the bat. But I do like Truex quite a bit. Yes, it is hog points here. Or I mean, I prefer saying laps led and fast laps instead of shortening them. But that's where I'm at there. In terms of Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and I don't think I've ever seen anybody put RSJ when they're talking about Stenhouse Jr. This is a track that I like Stenhouse at compared to where he's starting. I capped myself at, I forgot how much Stenhouse I have. Let me look. I got 44% Stenhouse right now. I really do like him to find some speed in this race, to show up and maybe not necessarily finish second like he did last weekend, but certainly I think he has a chance to have a top 10 car at this race. This is a situation to where, yes, I am looking at how he's done at the intermediates this year. Top 16 speeds at Las Vegas. When we look at Dover, clearly top 10 speed. When we look at the practice sessions, we're seeing that Stenhouse is showing that he has a car that is very much capable of running top 16 speeds. Once you look at that, and I understand, I was like, oh, let's not look at Truex Jr. running fast laps. When you look at a guy like Stenhouse Jr., who's clearly showing a knack for this type of racetrack, sure, yes, he wrecked in 2019. The first race back from COVID, wrecked on, I forgot, very early in the race. After the 7 weeks off in the COVID situation with no practice session. But we're seeing that Stenhouse is able to come back 25th, 19th, 20th, 17th. He's showing that he has a knack for this type of track, and in a sense of being consistent and showing up. So that's how I would use, track data. Use it as like your last point to, if you want to find something that pushes you towards the guy, or if you want to look at something that might, be a indication of why you should be hesitant on a guy. But Stenhouse Jr. is showing a lot of things that I like here. I do like Stenhouse at this price range. I like where he's starting. I have 44% just to that's going to be over the field. And I don't necessarily need to be that aggressive on Stenhouse when I'm already being aggressive on other people like LaJoy and certainly the builds that I'm using. But I really do like LaJoy today. I think he can have a very, very good day. So that's where I'm at there. Okay, well, McDowell should quit. The fact that I hate that the man won the 500. I absolutely hate it because it's Derek Cope all over again. McDowell is probably the worst driver in the Cup Series right now. Pound for pound, tail of the tape, McDowell is the worst driver in this series. Horrible in this package. Absolutely horrible. Same situation here. 24th fastest last weekend, saved late in the race, finished 17th. When we're looking at Fontana, Las Vegas, tracks that you actually have to drive, we're basically back in the situation where the driver is in control of the car. Basically, what McDowell has raced in his entire career, and McDowell has never done anything in a car like that. I don't see McDowell doing fuck all in this race. $5,500 for a guy that I have as my second. My bad. He is my lowest projected driver today. I have McDowell projected for 5 points today. I have him finishing outside the top 24. I don't like McDowell. I don't like McDowell to maintain a top 20 running position. I don't like McDowell at all. In terms of, I assume that we're talking about Ty Dillon. I'll talk about both Dillons here because it just helps me, keep time. I'm not high on Austin Dillon. I just don't like it. I think he runs 17th today. Same thing kind of with the Cole Custer argument is I'm very much concerned about Austin Dillon not showing the speed here right off the bat and not running in the top 10. In terms of Ty Dillon, excuse me, starting 21st is too high for me. I think he's going to be running around 26th, 25th day. I don't like Ty Dillon. That's where I'm at there. Yeah, it's a very, very fun weekend to build lines. I'm sure your video will be a I can't even think of it like a metaphor right now. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very interested to see how you want to approach this. I appreciate that, and I got you. I helped. I'm gonna butcher your name, but 305. He had an issue. Reach out to me. I got him fixed on a Patreon, man. Like I answer pretty much everything. Like if you guys message me in Discord, Patreon, Twitter, I normally answer like within like. It's usually instant unless I'm up away from the computer. But if you guys ever have any issues or anything, just let me or just message me. I'm gonna help you out. What driver? Probably Richard Petty in the booth. That'd be awesome if Petty just had a stroke in the booth. I now see. I don't really give a shit if Byron's going to the back. Like he got in the wall. The booth was like, he'll probably be going to the rear to repair that damage. I don't really care. I don't like Byron. It doesn't concern me at all. I'm assuming this is way back because we're way back. I'm about 8 minutes behind in the chat. I like Cindric. I like Cindric a lot. And when I say a lot, like I said, the way I started this video, and I do appreciate 64 you guys being here. I have ownership spread out a lot today. I'm playing a lot of people, so I'm trying to answer everything in a situation where I either like them or don't like them. In terms of the best plays here, I think it's Busher and Austin Cindric for kind of like your mid-range plays today. That's where I'm highest at right now. Let's see, 7.6 or below. Let me look. 7.3. My bad. I like Cindric. I like Busher. I like Stenhouse. That's the closest to that range because I assume you're trying to get the not necessarily like trying to fill out all your salary, but I assume you're there to try and get the best plays there. Best guy because you're a little you have the projections, so I would just rank him off the projections there. So it'd be Cindric in there. Let's see. I talked about this already. What are you talking about, my guy? Dude, there's no way. Big E would be just a shriveled raisin at this point. Let me see. Let me see real quick. It would be an app. Let's see. He was. If I can do math, never do math live on screen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's say he's 49, but I'm going to use 50 because my tiny brain it struggles with doing stuff. He'd be 70, 71, 72 right now. He would be absolutely struggling. Like, the man looked terrible at 49. Like, this isn't me just being like, oh my God, Dale Earnhardt sucks or anything. The man looked way older than he was. Clearly, he did not take care of himself. Like, come on, guys. There's no way. I'm not saying he's going to pull a Dick Trickle and kill himself in his car, but he would absolutely be struggling there. COVID probably would have got Big E. That's just how it is. I really don't like Suarez today. I have one line with Suarez. I have no confidence in that. I like Stenhouse here compared to Busher, but I think they're both fantastic plays, and I think Busher is probably the better tournament play. I have even ownership to both these gentlemen here. I do have Kyle Busch in my lines. Quite a bit of Kyle Busch. Now, if Busch is pulled from the car, I'm not playing any Trevor Bayne. But I don't see that happening. I don't think there's necessarily one Galaxy Brain play. Like I said, I like playing Cody Ware, and playing the value plays in the bottom. And if like head to head between not Corey LaJoy, head to head between JJ Yaley and Cody Ware, I think JJ Yaley outscores Cody Ware by 1 or 2 points today. I have ownership to Reddick, but I don't like Reddick today. Very much a situation with Joey Logano is I have built Reddick lines in the contingency that he shows up and that he's fast, but I don't like Reddick here. There's so many guys that I like more than Reddick. I personally don't like Reddick. I just have him in lines to have him in lines. And see, everybody, and I only point this out because I'd rather sell stuff like this versus being like, oh my God, join this, use our discount code, blah, blah, blah. Or like shell, ads and links and crap for you guys. I'd rather just be like, look, man, I always answer people pretty fast if they ever need any help and stuff. I love you guys so much. I love that you don't mind it. Harvick Hamlin, head to head, answering this projection wise, Harvick is a much better play. And just due to the fact that he's cheaper than Hamlin, like this isn't even really an identical play. You're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing, grapes to oranges here. But Reddick is by far the better play between these two guys, just due to the pricing situation there. Pick 2, Kyle Busch and Chastain between those guys. I appreciate it. And I don't think I'm that crazy. And it's not an act either. Like, I'm just here to have a good time. This is way late. Jordan, you've probably already left here, but thank you for hanging out and just chilling. And I'll tune into your stream later. Hamlin, yet again, if I actually rank lap leaders in terms of who I like the most, it's Larson, Truex, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Chastain, and then Hamlin. I've made sure that I have Hamlin lines. I love the speed that he showed at Dover last week. Um, Clearly, probably the third best car, um, despite the fact that he had to go through the field and then get spun out and everything. I do like Hamlin, but he typically I'm able to go above the field on people that I do like. I'm pretty sure I'll come in right on the field with Hamlin. Let's see, what do I have Hamlin at? I might even be under. I'll probably be either at the field or under on Hamlin today, just due to the fact that I do like other guys more. And yeah, no, but welcome to the stream. All right, so we made it 40 minutes. At this point, you know, I'll do my best to answer questions. I'll do my best to give my opinion on guys, but I think I did my whole little spiel and talked about every single guy that I at least have interest to. I told you the pool of drivers that I have. I told you why I like and dislike certain guys in certain ranges. I think I've covered about everything here. So at this point, I'm just here for I'm here for the chat. So if we wanna goof around and if you want to let's have a drinking game today in the race. Anytime, Mike. I mean, you're not gonna get absolutely well. Let's do a hard liquor drinking game. Okay, let's do a shot every time Marty Robbins is brought up today, including the pre-race. All right, I probably won't be watching that, but that's going to be. I said it yesterday, man. I love Marty Robbins. I love that. I love music, and it's not me being like, "Oh my God, he was good." Like, no, like I clearly enjoy Marty Robbins, and the Master's Call was one of the first songs that I actually learned how to absolutely like sing and not sound like a complete idiot on saying. But it pains me that every time we go to Talladega and every time we go to Darlington, it's Marty Robbins. It's like it's just a trigger for Mike Joy. It's insane. I've heard the same story for 8 years now, being like, "Huh, I walked up to Marty Robbins and I asked, why do you run the magenta and yellow?" Well, Mike, it's so everybody else knows I'm there. So when they come to lap me, they know I'm there and blah, blah, blah. Like, Mike, can you please stop telling me the same story? You've been around all your life and you tell me the same story each and every weekend, man. It was fun the first 12 times, but we're on so many times I've heard this story, Mike. I like Harvick. I like Chase. Hamlin that order. Hell yeah. Not necessarily playing Todd today, but yeah, Todd squad is way cooler than Gilly gang. I can't project when his wife's gonna go into labor. Okay. So that's how we're at. I can't do anything. There it's bad. It's so bad. What's going on, Steeler? I don't do necessarily ownerships. You can, if you run and I don't think you're a Patreon member, Mark, but if you run the MME tool, it'll basically show you. It'll give you a good idea of where ownership should come in at. Versus what I actually have, what I personally have, my exposure to Harvick today is I have 61% Harvick. Clearly, that's going to be over the field. There's no way Harvick comes that close to the field. He's probably going to be more around 40%. That's what I would assume. Maybe pushes 50, but I'll probably still be over the field on Harvick. But that's where I'm at there. This is a week that I am playing Super Draft on. It's the same guys that I like at the regular tracks. Let me head over there. I mean, I like Hamlin, I like Elliott, Harvick, Chastain, Truex. You can make arguments for some of the higher owned multiplier guys, but I just want to get as many lap leaders in my line as possible. That's mainly the situation there. because even with the lap leaders in this race being, around like 1.4, 1.2, maybe not Larson at 1. I don't think I'd end up playing Larson, but I do like, all the other guys I just mentioned there. Bobby says, hell yeah, man. I love Bobby Labonte. He's so great, man. Uh, but I talked about it yesterday too, but we're shooting the breeze here. This is gonna be a brutal race, a broadcast to watch. We have gone to the retirement home and have drug out people. Like, and I don't shit on Richard Petty. The man is cool as a cucumber, okay? The man is Steve McQueen cool. But in terms of adding Jack All to the broadcast, it's gonna tank, man. You're gonna have it's gonna be. I love cringe humor. I mean, good. I love the grid walk. I love cringe humor, but Mike Joy is gonna revert to remember back in your day, Richard, or these aren't like your days, or what do you think about these guys here, and blah blah blah. And Richard is gonna enter. He's gonna answer with like 4-word sentences, and Boyer's going to have to come in and save whatever conversation they're having. And they're not even going to be talking about what's on the fucking racetrack because they look at TV screens. They don't look out the window. That's clear as day. I don't know why Fox is doing that. Like I said, I wish we'd still had BP around, man. Benny Parsons. There's so many things I wish about the broadcast that we had, but there's no way this is enjoyable. And that's the first stage. Bobby Labonte will probably be the best of the three. And Austin Bill from Dawsonville. Are you kidding me? Shout out to the Dawsonville pool room. 2 years ago, championship contending or championship race. I don't tweet at people. I just, voice things on Twitter. And if people happen to see it, they happen to see it. And I put out, I can't think of a better place to catch on fire with a full capacity than the Dawsonville pool room. And they liked it. So clearly they want to kill themselves too. But Bill Elliott, that's going to be horrific. Good Lord. Uh, and Mike, he's just trying too hard, man. Like Larry is fun. Larry loves, if it was Mike Joy and Larry in the booth, and I could handle Boyer, like Boyer's having to carry this booth. It's absolutely insane. It's painful how bad the broadcast is, and it annoys the shit out of me that will and like I said, I don't watch the Fox broadcast. I watch commercial free stream, but still I wish somebody would I wish they'd hire better cameramen or whoever's in charge of the transition, because there'll be cars spun out. The yellow will be out. Like, you'll see the caution lights on around the track and they'll still be talking. And then like 7 minutes later, they'll be like, oh, there's a yellow on the track. What happened? I don't know. Nobody's showing what the crash is. Like today, we're going to have guys on the wall and we're just going to catch them entering pit road with a flat tire. We won't know what happens. No problem. Happy to have you there, Mark. You can go back and listen to my Reddick thing. I have ownership to Reddick. I have ownership to a lot of guys. Cody, and so in an effort to not just answer why I have ownership to everybody, I'm answering things like to where what I truly think about people. I don't like Reddick today. But I'll probably end up having 25, 30% Reddick just to have him. Same thing, built with lines that have him leading laps and stuff. But personally, I don't like Reddick today. Is it dark, man? Shit. Am I wrong? Like, are you watching these cars? Are you watching these races? Have you seen the way this car is constructed? And there's a reason these guys are taking the hardest hits of their lives, because NASCAR designed the car that clearly does not have safety in mind. Like, I'm not wrong with that type of stuff. I might sound a bit extreme, but I'm sorry, man. Like, God isn't real. We got to have fun in life. Like, It's not that bad. Hey man, don't talk. Look, you got to respect a man who's carrying those four strains of hair. I mean, it's adorable. Um, you can find it. It's unbelievably easy to find a stream. It's wildly easy. I believe in you. I believe in you. Um, at least I got the views. At least I got you here. I do appreciate it. Um, I got you tuned in. Even if you disliked it, have it look, but I got engagement from you. You commented. The algorithm is showing that even though you hate watched me, it's still gonna recommend me to people. So thank you. No, I'm with you. I'm on Justin Haley there. I'm glad we got a bit of the chat's a bit feisty tonight or this morning. I like that. Normally we're all happy go lucky. I'm getting some pushback here, so I like that. I also have no idea how I keep gaining followers on Twitter. Like I post nearly nothing on Twitter. I have no idea where the followers are coming from. I get like 2 or 3 a day at this point, and I have no idea where they are coming from. Real quick, 80 guys still here. 81 of you guys still here. 50 minutes in on a Sunday morning stream. 39 likes. I do appreciate that, guys. I do appreciate the amount of support that Pearce and I have both gotten on Patreon this year. Just thank you guys so much for supporting everything that we do. And yeah, I'm very low on Ty Dillon today. I like LaJoy. I like other guys. And going back to this and this real quick. I might be annoying, but I am very happy with the work that I do, man. And you better be happy that I do not cover the NFL or NBA because I would absolutely be the most cynical NFL or NBA tout out there. It would be probably painfully annoying because I absolutely hate those sports. Or baseball. You better be happy I don't watch baseball. I don't know how people can watch baseball. I don't know how that's even a sport. I don't know how that's even watchable. The best part of baseball this year has been the pushback on Apple TV carrying that. Yet again, back to cringe humor. That terrible you know I love it. Best call in my life. Like it's back-to-back jacks on trips around the sun. I live for that type of stuff. Um, and thank you, Andrew. I do appreciate that, man. I mean, that's a long time ago. I did, NFL stuff, trying to get out there. I would have hated my life if I continued to do that. I still play a lot of NFL stuff. If you're in the True DFS Discord, you'll see that I do play NBA. I haven't done it in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, but we've had a tremendous year in NBA. Um, I love playoff basketball, DFS. I've brought in probably at least 1,900 in the month of April just on NBA DFS. It's been a wildly successful NBA season there, but I would hate covering it. Same thing with football. At this point I would hate making videos for that stuff. I'll certainly talk about it, but that's where I'm at. And so Andrew, thank you for being a very long time listener and viewer. And I'm glad that I've been able to carry you through all these years, through all these improvements and have this grown. And 90 people here. Thank you very much for watching. I try and actually like show that I value you guys watching. That's why I don't waste my time being like, oh my God, can you guys like and subscribe? The YouTube algorithm shows me that 50% of you guys are not subscribed. I don't care about that. I'm happy that I have people here listening to me. I'm happy that we've gained so much support on Patreon. I'm glad that people have supported me through all these years. I'm glad that you guys help me pay my rent. That's why I do these live shows. That's why I do the videos. The Google ad revenue isn't a crazy amount, but it certainly helps. I mean, every little thing helps. And so thank you guys so much for being here. Right? I did. Wesley, shout out to you. I didn't even think about that. with the amount of Dale Earnhardt death jokes I've made, and I couldn't even come back with the man couldn't even clear himself, and it caused him to die. You think he's eating healthy? I love you, Wesley. Yeah, I'm very, very worried about Dylan, man, and it really, really scares me. Like when we're looking at, I think Ty Dillon has 21st place speed. 20, my bad, not even that. 24th place speed. When we look at Ty Dillon's laps, his average is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eighth lowest, very similar to Ty Dillon and Corey LaJoie. They are very similar on speeds. Clearly, he went out there on a Q trim, or just two trimmed out in general. 165 line, 164, 163, 162, 161, massive fall off. And we're going to fall off anyway between the tire wear here, but Ty Dillon fell off like a rock early in this session, to whereas at least LaJoie maintained a consistent speed. He didn't just come out of the gate flying, but LaJoie was much more consistent. And so I like LaJoie there. Yeah, I start moving, and I apologize. I didn't even remember what you asked. The Kyle Busch being removed. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I would prefer it if I'd really like if we didn't have to deal with that. I mean, look, man, we're watching a bunch of idiots turn left, man. Racing takes no skill. It does take skill. Clearly it takes skill, but really just a bunch of dumb rednecks that wreck each other each and every week. If somebody walked up to you and said, NASCAR is just a bunch of people wrecking, that's an absolute accurate description, man. And we're seeing NASCAR fans are just as stupid as NFL and MLB fans. Well, we're dumb in our own ways. I agree. I'm gonna kill them brain cells. Yeah, F1 is I'll probably do 4 lines for F1. I got 2 belt right now. I did do the video last night. I'm probably just gonna fade Max Verstappen. I understand that we're probably gonna have a lot of passing in the DRS zones, but I think Leclerc will end up having the best car, because if anything, I think Leclerc is gonna end up probably getting the benefit of DRS more than Verstappen, just because I think he can maintain the lead in the corners, in the early corners of the track, and then say if Verstappen passes him, constantly on the DRS zone, I think he can gain it back in the corners and do to pit strategy and stuff like that. So that's just where I'm at. I like Harvick. I think Harvick is a great play. I have no Eric Jones. Probably going to be a mistake, but he's just not a guy I want to go out of my way to get. I have him projected for a 13th place finish. I don't see anything much than that. 29.8 points. Maybe giving him some fast laps. I don't see it from Eric Jones. But that's just where I'm at. Eric is a bit difficult to get in lines because he's 7,700, whereas I like, Buescher, I like Cindric, I like Keselowski more. The real argument should be made: who scores better, Eric Jones or Keselowski? There. So let me see real quick, because I do not remember. $13th. What did he start last weekend? For whatever reason, I have no recollection of Eric Jones being a good play last weekend. I don't even remember what he... Oh, yeah, he did start 25th. That's why. I think he was saved by the late race yellow. I think he was one of the guys who gained positions and certainly passed Bowman and Kyle Busch late in the race. I didn't really lean towards Eric. I probably need to make it an Eric line just to have him, especially if I'm going to have Reddick in there. I'll highlight Jones as well on my end real quick. But, like I said, gun in my head, I don't like him this week. Thank you, Rob. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate I appreciate you watching. I'm glad that you liked the show. I don't think he's going to compete for the win, but he'll certainly. I think it's very easy for Cindric to pay off today. Let me look. I'll answer the Kiz, the BKR machine. I got 11%. I'll probably end up with around 15 as well. I'm trying to look at the builds right fast. Keselowski is being put in lines to where it's a 3 lap leader type of lineup. If you're building a 4, it's not going to happen, and you'll most likely end up with Truex or Kyle Busch in the Keselowski lines. Just looking at the builds real quick, but that's where I'm at there. And yeah, see, Josh, you hit the nail right on the head there. Fast on pit road is probably my second most important stat that I've looked at entering this week and entering the month of May, entering these tracks, and just all year in general. The pit data is huge, which you can get at the Patreon, link in the description below, because I haven't seen anybody else carry the amount of pit data that we have in a fashion that's, in my opinion, very easy to read, no matter if you're looking at certain tracks or if you're looking at averages, whatever the case is. I love the way that we're presenting the pit data in the sheets, and so even the lap by lap stuff, it's incredibly insane. The real rating has been absolutely so helpful. Pearce was really not necessarily beta testing it last year, but it was something that he really started last year, and it's what I really latched onto in terms of projections. And so the real rating pit data is fucking huge. It's probably the two main things that I look at this year. We've been live for an hour, guys. 74 of you guys still here. I'm going to let you go ahead and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching me support the channel. If you do anything, or if you feel like leaving a donation, you can either do it through Patreon. I have PayPal on my Twitter. You can just copy my name and put it in there on the search. You can donate through PayPal, whatever the case is. Just thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, and best of luck today. And enjoy the F1 and NASCAR head to head. And yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for being here.